Okay, so we're going to switch gears a little bit and look at policy, laws, and regulatory issues. So in 1963, we had the Community Mental Health Act. And this helped us stay informed about current trends and professional issues impacting practice. So some terms: policy is outlining what the governing body hopes to achieve for its constituents and the methods, principles used to achieve those goals. Laws are rules decided on by legislation for the purpose of governing a particular activity within a society. And regulations are used to carry out policies and implement the authority of laws. So these are good, important terms to know, so that way you know, okay, this is a policy. What does that mean for me? This is a law. What does that mean for me? And these are regulations. How does that affect me? So let's look at that a little bit more. So policies are aspirational. They're outline goals, objectives. It's created by an organization, leaders, or elected government officials. Cannot be enforced. Laws are legal. They are established for the provision of policies to be put in place. So you have the policy and then it goes to law, ideally. It's enacted by elected officials or organization leaders. And there's an including punishment for failure to adhere. And then finally, regulations are organizationally based. This provides step-by-step details related to how laws should be followed. It's created by organization leaders or elected government officials, and it includes punishment for failure to adhere. So notice laws and regulations, you have to adhere to them, otherwise there is a level of punishment. So, professional identity is a major policy issue. Definition of counseling is a policy issue. It's part of our professional identity. Mental health parity ensures our health care service plans are not able to discriminate between coverage offered for mental illness, substance abuse, or other physical disorders or diseases. Licensure portability, ability to transfer their license easily to another state. So, these are all examples of policies, laws, and regulation. So the military has TRICARE insurance. In order to work with the military, you have to have an MA or a PhD in counseling from a CACREP accredited MH counseling program. MH standing for mental health. So that's important to know because the military is the only insurance provider that requires a CACREP accredited degree. You have to have a state license in mental health at the clinical level or highest level available. Passing score on the NCM HCE, I believe is what that should say. A minimum of 3,000 hours of supervised clinical practice. A minimum of 100 hours of face-to-face supervision. And a well-defined scope of practice. Now, the reason why this is so difficult to be approved for is because you're working with people who have seen the worst of the worst, who have experienced the worst of the worst. They need to know that if you are working with military, that you know what you're doing and you know how to help. You're not going to cause further harm. So if you want to work for the VA, it's an MACMH or related field from a CACREP accredited training program. You can do community counseling, gerontology counseling, marital couple family counseling, or marriage and family therapy. And yes, the VA kind of keeps those separate. So let's talk about Medicare and LPC. So Medicare Part A is an inpatient hospital stay, care provided in a skilled nursing facility, hospice care, or home health care. Medicare Part B are doctor services, outpatient care, medical supplies, and preventative services. Medicare Part C is your HMOs, PPOs, special need plans, Medicare medical savings account plans. And Part D are your prescription drug coverage. Now, just recently they changed the laws and LPCs can work with Medicare and Medicaid clients. So this is something very new. It took a lot of advocating for LPCs because up until recently it was only social workers. So as an LPC, you are to advocate for the profession. The reason why we are able to work with Medicare is because there were many who advocated. You're also advocating for the credibility of the profession. And advocacy is simply a pleading for a cause or support a person, group, or policy. So when you are agreeing to become a counselor, then your job is to advocate as a professional in this field.